Hi, I'm Alice Antoinette, and I am a full-time traveling freelance model and event coordinator. When I started Muses in Wonderland, I originally started it with the intent of creating a safe space for the models to come and work, and also to help newer photographers reach their fullest potential. Of course, at Muses in Wonderland, at our home venue in upstate New York, we can have all skill levels of models and photographers come and work, but with Muses Takeover events, we want to have an event that helps elevate everybody's skill sets to the next level. When I envisioned the Muses Takeover brand, it was an offshoot of the Muses in Wonderland brand. So Muses in Wonderland is our beginning event where people can kind of come into a large-scale event and meet each other, network, get to know one another better, and it's a good place for me to scout talent and see what models I would enjoy bringing out into the world with me and which photographers I would also enjoy bringing along. And in creating Muses Takeover, I had been to so many other international events, and they weren't all the way that I envisioned that I would run my own. So I thought, well, if I ran my own home base domestic events very well, then I can bring my vision to life on the international scale. So I decided to run my first international event with the Muses Takeover brand because I was actually looking a little bit everywhere. I was looking all over the world, like, where can I go? Because I've went and worked all over the world as a model, and there's several places I had in mind. Like, maybe we could do the Caribbean, maybe we could do Europe, maybe we could do Southeast Asia, Iceland. But when I looked at places for rent, because in my mind, as a coordinator and organizer, I always want my location to be solid. Like, I want there to be a good home base that we can all go back to at the end of the day. So I found a really good villa, a really great villa in Tulum, and I decided to go with that. So this is a pretty loaded question as what makes this different from other model photography events. So I've noticed, currently speaking, there's a lot of events that are either content creation based or they're art model based. They're very much so niche. But I would like to create an event that brings all of those sorts of aspects together. So we have art models available, but they also get commercial content out of it. So not only are they art modeling, but they also get mainstream content that they can use on their social media, their website platforms, and the photographers also do. So if photographers want behind the scenes of themselves working, they want mainstream content to promote their brand, we also help provide that here at Muses Takeover. So given my vision for this brand to be sort of like everything into one event of the things I've experienced throughout my life with commercial, but also art modeling put together, I think that we well executed that through this event. I think that with the first event, I didn't know what to expect, but I had high hopes, and from everything, from the planning of it to the execution, going to the locations, seeing how the models interacted with the photographers, it far exceeded my expectations for what this event was envisioned for. It's so much more than I could have ever hoped for. So when I curate a group for these sort of events, I don't want the sort of cliquey behavior or the stuck-up behavior that I've seen at other events. I've seen where people feel entitled almost to be in these locations and working with photographers or models. So when I get my group together, I like to scout people through my home event. So when I invite the large event that's 60, 80, 100 people to my home venue event in upstate New York, I like to scout there and see what new talent I could bring to a higher level, and also what talent is already there that is doing really well, but we can also bring them on the international front just because they're super cool people. And with that, I also work through word of mouth because I've worked all over the place, so I have connections all over the world for models and photographers that would recommend their friends to me, that I trust their opinion. And with this event, I was just so happy with the dynamic that was going on with the models and photographers. Everyone, I thought that the models would maybe skip out on one of the excursions, or the photographers would, but everyone came to every single excursion we had planned, and the results were just incredible from that. So, the most rewarding dynamic of this entire event for me was seeing how the models and photographers interacted with each other and how much of a family unit we became. It was really cute how at the villa we all would convene together and have our meetings, but then we would also like all walk out together to the restaurants in town or to shopping nearby. And everybody participated in all of the activities that we had available. So everybody was just super excited to work with each other, and that couldn't have made me any more happier. So the biggest challenge for me as an event coordinator is definitely the flexibility aspect. I understand that there has to be flexibility when it comes to running international scale events because you never know what the weather is going to be. You never know if the locations are going to pan out the way that you think. You don't know if somebody's going to get sick and that they're not able to come. So you have to, as an event coordinator, you have to be able to be flexible to those types of changes. But for me, I'm very punctual and I like things to run on schedule. So we had a great group of people that were easygoing to work with, and they were also extremely flexible. They were saying that I was doing a good job and everything. So the vibe all around was super, super flexible, easygoing, and that also helped me to relax and loosen up a little bit and not feel as though I'm overly responsible. You know, I felt like I was also on a vacation with with this group of people too, so. So it's really hard to pick a clear moment for me that was the pinnacle of this event because it was all incredible. From the first cenote that we went to, where they had incredible art pieces, to the next cenote we went to, which was like underground caves, which totally blew me away. And all the beaches we went to Canaan, which is a really cool beach club that I've shot at before, but we had to pull some strings to be able to shoot there because they normally don't allow photography, but we had some friends that could help us out. So that worked out really good. And we also ended up going to an exclusive private beach at the end. So that was super cool. The models could shoot like their art concepts. So I just love that we did a little bit of everything, the commerce, the mainstream content, and the art content all in the same trip. And just seeing everybody so happy. And I guess if I were to pick one moment that was the pinnacle of everything for me, aside from the photo shoots, it would definitely have to be the dinners where we all got together and we got to share our experiences and just enjoy each other's company. When planning these sorts of events, the things that I take into account are the different textures and backgrounds and the variations in backgrounds that we have available. So when I planned for cenotes, for example, because Tulum is known for its cenotes, I first think, you know, what does the area offer? Well, Tulum is known for beaches and cenotes, so I had to bring the groups to those places. So we had to see, okay, we have like above ground cenotes that are more lagoon style, we have underground cenotes that are more cave style, and the beaches were great too. We went to different beaches, so I try to mix things up with the different areas that we have. And when it came to the villa, the place that we were staying, I wanted to also have that be photogenic. That way, in case we had a rainy day or something like that, or just an extra day, which we did at the end because we ended up with really great weather, we could shoot there as well and get some amazing content with awesome backdrops that were also provided there at the villa. So logistically speaking, once I did find the villa that we were going to stay at, and I was like, okay, we're going to go to Tulum, we found a villa that financially makes sense and would also make for a good photo shoot backdrop, I also figured in there, okay, I need to make sure that these places I'm researching make sense. So I had to figure, what is the cost for admission to these places? Do they actually look visibly appealing in pictures? Do they allow photography? You know, I had to look at all of the different questions that could go into these places that I found out sometimes the hard way when I would go to other events and see that things wouldn't work out for that event coordinator. So I was like, okay, what can I logistically do to avoid as many hiccups as possible? So we did run into a few hiccups, which is a part of the flexibility aspect that I was talking about earlier, which of course it was not hard to figure out a new path on where we could go when we experienced something come up. So one of the examples was I thought we could shoot at Canaan because I had had photo shoots there with professional cameras before. However, it ended up being a special circumstance at the time, and I didn't know that. So moving forward, we went to Canaan, we had to pull some strings. I don't know much Spanish, but we did have a Spanish-speaking friend, a photographer friend that was also with our group, and he was able to pull some strings because he knew the owner, and so we were able to get those shots that we were looking for with the sticks and the boho vibes that Canon had to offer. So originally they weren't going to let us shoot there. They said it was going to be this exorbitant amount of money for no photography, and I was like, well, we're not going to go shoot there if that's going to be the case. So we ended up negotiating a bit, and then we got a much lower rate, and we were able to have, food included, and we were able to do our photo shoots with professional gear. So, when things come up, we figure it out. What I noticed even from the get-go with my first domestic event in New York, I originally thought it would be like art models running around, collecting their money from photographers, not really caring about the shoots, because that was what I saw at a lot of other events I had been to. But however, I think even from the start, when I provided props and wardrobe of my own to have to the models to borrow, and they used that at their photo shoots, it created a sense of unlocked creativity for them. So where they normally wouldn't be as creative, because I was able to provide those items, they ran with it. So I also did that for this event. I went and brought some of my own wardrobe and props, and the models ran with it. They absolutely loved using the things that I brought. So not only do I want people to get amazing images, of course, but I would also love for people that come to these events to have a sense of connection with the community. I would want people to be able to connect with the community in a sense that where we're lacking right now in social media and with other events, there's this sort of disconnect with feeling recognized for their work. I would want my group to feel that they are recognized for their efforts and that their content means something more, that means something greater than just a picture on Instagram that's not going to get any likes. We, as a group, value everybody who comes through, and we love to help them get to the next level creatively and on a personal level as well. When it comes to seeing the future for this event, I would love to run these events multiple times a year. I would love to go to multiple locations all over the world. I would love to keep the group smaller. A resort sellout is not out of the question. I would love to do the large resort sellouts as well, but I would love to continue running the smaller, tight-knit groups, have new and inspiring ideas that helps bring everybody's creativity to the next level. And I would just love to keep adding on to that sense of community and recognition and understanding and just making incredible memories. If someone's wondering if they should come to this event or not, I would say, talk to people who have come before. I always preach that models and photographers should check references and ask people currently their experience with working with someone. So of course I would recommend that. But as a biased opinion, because I'm the event coordinator and I think it's a great event, I would recommend people to come if they want to grow and they want to see their brands get to the next level and create with people who really value the experience of creativity and making incredible content. So if we can get the funding for it, because we already have Bali in the works, and Bali, Southeast Asia, is generally pretty affordable, and so is Tulum. But one of the higher, more expensive areas that I would love to go and visit one day is Iceland. I think Iceland has so much potential, given that I've went before, and both trips that I went had totally different creative aspects to both. So I would love to add on to, not only do the same sort of things that I did at those, but also add on my own twist to the creative aspects of those trips. So Iceland would definitely be a bucket list event place to go to. As an event coordinator, I love running these events, and I love seeing the lasting connections that people get out of coming to these things. So if you're somebody who's wanting to know more about these events and that you want to get involved, feel free to check out the information that we have listed in the description. And if you want to know more about me too, I'll have my website linked there as well. And I hope to see you all there. It'll be a really fun time on the next trip, so I wouldn't want you to miss out.